First at 9. This is Other Derana 24/7.
Sri Lanka backs China's Maritime Silk Road project. President appoints 4-member committee to look into Lake House. Saitam responds to allegations. And Sri Lankan bowlers fail once again. Good evening, welcome to Other Derana 24/7. I'm Harshni Ranasinghe. Police today commenced investigations into the shooting incident last night targeting the Chief Executive Officer of South Asian Institute of Technology and Medicine. Police said CCTV footage obtained from a nearby location will be used in the investigation process. Chief Executive Officer of Saitam, Dr. Samira Senaratne, was targeted by unidentified gunmen around 7:30 p.m. yesterday down Chandrika Kumaratunga Road near the Dr. Neville Fernando Teaching Hospital in Malabay. Dr. Senaratne was on his way home from the hospital when two men on a motorcycle fired gunshots at his car and fled the scene. Dr. Senaratne escaped the shooting unhurt. He was later admitted to the Dr. Neville Fernando Hospital.
I got anonymous telephone calls from the beginning of this month. They threatened that my life will be in danger if I remain with Saitam. I also received several letters threatening me. They had sent these letters to me and Saitam. The last telephone caller identified himself as a devil. I smiled to myself and told him that I wished to meet him. I do not know who these people are. I believe Saitam will not be closed just because they kill me.
A team comprising personnel from the Special Investigations Unit of the Mirihana Police and Mulleriyawa Police are carrying out further investigations. Meanwhile, the police media unit stated that security of Dr. Samira Senaratne has been ensured following the attack. Senior professors at the Saitam Medical Faculty assured that they will continue to uphold the standards of medical education in Sri Lanka. Dr. Neville Fernando, along with a team of Saitam professors, convened a media briefing today to discuss developments following the Saitam ruling.
Saitam was started not because I wanted to make money. If I wanted to make money, I would have started a casino. And if I wanted to make money, I wouldn't have given 30% of the students' scholarships, valued about 550 million rupees. In 2013, then President Mahinda Rajapaksa requested me to give 10 scholarships to students who had got 3 years, 2 years, but couldn't enter the university.
Most of these organizations who are protesting about the standard of clinical training, they are not talking anything about the glaring deficiencies in some of the state faculties like Rajarata and Batiklo. And for that matter, as we all know, KDU, where they don't have even a hospital, leave aside the other deficiencies. So in that sense, the clinical training provided at Saitam is, we can show you, is of very high standard. As the acting Vice Chancellor of Saitam, I will be the happiest person if we can get an international panel to come and assess the standard of training, not only in Saitam, but also they should come and assess the standard of training in all state faculties and also KDU and give us a comprehensive report.
The minimum entry qualification for our university is 2 Cs and 1 S. There are no students with lower grades registered at Saitam.
Professor Carlo Fonseca is one of my teachers. He has mentioned in a previous report that
identify suitable government hospital and work out the modalities of upgrading and operating teaching hospital through public and private partnership.
I'm inviting him with all respect to talk with the Minister of Health and to look into the progress of Saitam.
Hitapu Atigaru Mahinda Rajapaksa Metituma එතුමා තමයි මේ සයිටම් මහතනේ බිහි කරේ. මේක එතුමාගේ බිලිඳා.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa is the one who pioneered this. This is his baby. If you established this and provided scholarships for students, I request you to work for the improvement of this institution.
මේ සයිටම් ආයතනයේ ප්‍රගතියට කටයුතු කරන මෙන් ගෞරවයෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා.
බහුවර්ණ පත්‍රය කියන එක ළමෙක්ගේ දක්ෂතාව පාස්.
The MCQ does not measure the ability of students. It does not test whether students pass or fail exams. It is used to only prepare the merit list. Some time ago, we requested for the MCQ paper, but they ignored it.
නමුත් සැලකිල්ලටවත් ගත්තේ නැහැ.
If you do not trust the medical council, who will to turn to?
We're going to ask the Ministry of Higher Education if this is to be regulated. KDU should also be looked at.
ඒක තියන්න.
Minister of Social Empowerment and Welfare SP Dissanayake observes that the Health Minister has authority to nullify Sri Lanka Medical Council decisions at instances where the Council disagrees with state policies. The Minister said this speaking at a ceremony at the Poramadulla National School in Rikilagaskanda.
Is it wrong to give someone the opportunity to pursue education on his own expenditure or by obtaining a loan? The university wasn't given the authority to issue medical degrees without any reason. Heads of all medical faculties in Sri Lanka prove this. However, they are all frightened now. If Sri Lanka Medical Council disagrees with state policies, the Health Minister has the authority to nullify their decision and take further action. However, Rajasen Radna did not do so. Instead, the minister handed over the case to the judiciary. Later, the Court of Appeal gave a proper ruling. There is an issue here. That issue was created by doctors themselves. They do not allow students of Saiton to obtain clinical training at the state hospitals. And then Sri Lanka Medical Council complains that students from Saiton do not have sufficient clinical training. You must also take into consideration the situation at the medical school in Batclaw. They do not have a single professor there. At the medical school in Anuradhapura, they have only 2 retired professors. Why are those issues highlighted? There are medical students who carry out silent protests. If I am the Higher Education Minister, I would know how to take control of the situation. Back then, I never allowed students to control universities. As a result, professors and lecturers were able to act independently. But they cannot do that today.
Meanwhile, the Government Medical Officers Association expressed views in reaction to Minister SP Dissanayaka's comments.
If
the health minister holds the highest authority according to the medical ordinance, he should have taken action once he received the report. It is the responsibility of the Sri Lanka Medical Council to provide technical advice to the minister. The minister does not have any other council to obtain technical advice. This is why we are carrying out this struggle.
Now, President Maithripala Sirisena has appointed a 4-member committee to look into upgrading functions of Lake House. The committee is chaired by retired Supreme Court Judge Nimal Dissanayake. Other members include Raja Premadasa, V.D. Dahanayake and Attorney-at-Law Chandrasiri Senviratna. A statement issued by the President's Media Division says the committee is to identify management and organizational weaknesses of Lake House and also to look into its financial status. The committee has been advised to submit a report of its findings within 3 months to the President after incorporating public and employee feedback. The release further says the committee was appointed to ensure Lake House and its trilingual publications remain competitive. Welcome back. President Maithripala Sirisena and Chinese President Xi Jinping today exchanged congratulatory messages to mark the 60th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between Sri Lanka and China. Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena today assured full support to his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping's ambitious maritime Silk Road project, saying it will open a new era of relations between the two countries. In his message to the Chinese president on the 60th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between the two countries, President Sirisena said that Sri Lanka is firmly dedicated to promoting relations with China. President Sirisena said that he believed on the basis of the ancient maritime Silk Road and that the One Belt, One Road initiative will open up a new era of bilateral ties. Meanwhile, in his message, Chinese President Xi Jinping appreciated Sri Lanka for its active participation in the Belt and Road initiative. The Chinese president said, "I'm willing to work with you to consolidate political mutual trust, expand mutually beneficial cooperation and deepen people-to-people friendship so as to inject new vigor and vitality to the China-Sri Lanka strategic cooperative partnership featuring sincere mutual assistance and enduring friendship." Meanwhile, in celebration of 60 years of diplomatic relations between China and Sri Lanka, the China National Symphony Orchestra and Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka presented a concert at the BMICH last evening. President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe joined the Chinese ambassador in Sri Lanka, Yi Jialing, at the occasion. The Government Medical Officers Association says it is working towards building a comprehensive national alliance against the South Asian Institute of Technology and Medicine. Addressing a media briefing in Colombo today, Assistant Secretary of GMOA Dr. Chandana Dharmaratna stated that discussions with political party representatives representing both the government and the opposition are currently underway.
Sri Lanka is going to become first and the only country in the world with doctors who have not been recognized by their own medical council. So in our struggle, we are planning to form a broad alliance with political parties, both in and out of the government, the students, the student unions, university teachers, both medical and non-medical, and parents organizations, as well as civil society group. We are fighting to preserve right to life of the citizens of this country. The duty of the health minister and the higher education minister is for the health minister to preserve, develop the healthcare system and the medical education, and the higher education minister's duty is to preserve and nurture the higher education system, both government and private in the country, as well as to maintain high standards of higher education system, both in the private sector as well as the government. We have seen that both ministers have failed miserably to do their duty by the people.
Minister of Law and Order and Southern Development, Sagala Ratnayaka, says that the current government is planning on uplifting standards of Sri Lanka police in compliance with modern legal systems. The minister made these comments during an observation visit of the proposed police university building in Colombo today.
This is the old premises that the police academy had its headquarters. The police has two levels of training at the moment. One is the police training school. That's where the constables and the sub-inspectors receive their training. The next level is the academy. That's a higher training organization. We want to add to that a police and criminal justice university, not just for the police officers, but also for others who want that education in that field, and also open it to foreign students. We will tie up with foreign universities to exchange programs. We want to raise the standards of the police in Sri Lanka. It has to change with times. It has to be a people-friendly police. It has to be a technologically advanced police, and it has to also be advanced with the laws in modern times. So whilst the legal system will be modernized, police will also have to modernize themselves to keep up with it. So we plan to start this soon. We will take it to Cabinet and then present it to Parliament once we receive Cabinet approval.
There have been many stories from across the world of courageous women who have overcome many obstacles to make a living. Tonight, Ada Derana follows the story of a woman who has not only survived but prospered in a male-dominated profession.
Priyangani Nilmini, a 44-year-old woman, drives visitors through the Udawalawa National Park. This is her profession. Aware of the dangers she could face among the wildlife, Priyangani still manages to do her job with great willpower. She began in 2014 and has driven people in nearly 200 safari rounds, and she is the only woman among 400 safari drivers at Udawalawa.
Tourists appreciate my work and say that this is the first time they have seen a lady safari driver. Once during a safari ride, an elephant approached the jeep and threw trees onto the vehicle. That was when I first got scared, but that did not stop me.
Priyangani proves to be yet another courageous woman who shows that determination can take anyone to greater heights.
In my earlier days, some people told me that a woman should be at home and it is not suitable for a woman to do such things. I will not be discouraged by such statements. I will do what I can do.
Central Bank's decision to maintain the current policy rates pushed the Colombo bourse higher today. We have RM Sivanandan from the Colombo Stock Exchange for more details from the trading floor.
The benchmark all-share price index gained 24.73 points to close at 6,073.04, while the S&P Sri Lanka 20 index gained 11.76 points to close at 3,478.08. The turnover was 500.38 million rupees with 10.85 million shares changing hands in 2,253 trades. The market capitalization at the end of the day was 2,686.19 billion rupees. Top 5 gainers of the day were SND Leasing, Amanata Carfull, Kalani Cables, Ceylon Hotel Corporations and Adam Capital, while the top 5 losers were Bedwara Resorts, Orient Finance, Land Brewery, Colombo City Holdings and Asia Asset Finance. Today's foreign purchases was 314.74 million rupees and the foreign sales was 204.18 million rupees. Today there were 4 crossings and the crossing turnover was 218.69 million rupees.
Let's now take a look at how the Sri Lankan rupee traded against other currencies. Welcome back. In sports news, the 4th one-day international between host South Africa and Sri Lanka began in Newlands Cricket Stadium, Cape Town today. Having already taken an unassailable 3-2-0 lead in the 5-match series, the South Africans' eyes are on securing their 6th consecutive ODI series victory at home. Electing to bat first, the South Africans scored 367 runs for 5 wickets at the end of 50 overs. Playing a magnificent innings, Faf du Plessis scored 185 runs off 140 balls with 16 fours and 3 sixes. AB de Villiers and QD Cox scored 64 and 55 runs respectively. Lahiru Kumara and Sachit Pathirana picked 2 wickets each, while Lahiru Madhushankar picked 1 wicket.
Around his legs, Villiers with that break. The South African one-day colours since the World Cup semi-final. Nasty punch by du Plessis, the placement supreme. Slapped away, good shot, brilliant shot. He's busy again, Mendes. This time he's taken the catch. Nicely snaffled.
The US Justice Department has defended President Donald Trump's travel ban and urged an appeals court to reinstate it in the interests of national security. A 15-page brief argued that the ban was a lawful exercise of the president's authority and not a ban on Muslims.
The executive order temporarily banned entry for all refugees and visitors from 7 mainly Muslim countries. A hearing challenging the order on immigration has been set for later today. The filing was made to the San Francisco-based 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in response to a federal judge in Washington state halting Trump's order on Friday. The judge had ruled that the ban was unconstitutional and harmful to the interest of the United States. As a result, people from the 7 Muslim-majority countries Iran, Iraq, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria and Yemen with valid visas are able to travel to the US again.
Qatar Airways Flight 921, which is set to be the longest scheduled commercial flight by flying time, according to the airline's website, took off yesterday from Auckland on its way to Doha. The flight was expected to take 17 hours and 30 minutes, according to flight tracking website Flight Radar 24, and is expected to arrive in Doha at approximately 2200 hours local time. Qatar Airways is using a Boeing 777 on the 14,534 kilometer flight. Improvements in technology over the last decade have allowed more efficient fuel use, encouraging longer flights. The previous record for the world's longest scheduled flight by flying time was held by fellow Gulf carrier Emirates, which launched direct flights to Auckland from Dubai in March 2016. Israel passed a law retroactively legalizing about 4,000 settler homes built on privately owned Palestinian land in the occupied West Bank, a measure that has drawn international concern. The legislation has been condemned by Palestinians as a blow to their hopes of statehood, but its passage may only be largely symbolic, as it contravenes Israeli Supreme Court rulings on property rights. Under the new law, settlers could remain on the land if they built without prior knowledge of Palestinian ownership or if homes were constructed at the state's instruction. Palestinian owners would receive financial compensation. Israel's Attorney General has said it is unconstitutional and that he will not defend it at the Supreme Court. Political sources have said Netanyahu privately opposes the bill over concerns it could provide grounds for prosecution by the International Criminal Court in The Hague. Netanyahu himself did not attend the vote because he was on a plane back from London when it was held. The UN Special Coordinator for the Middle East peace process said in a statement that the law will have far-reaching legal consequences for Israel and greatly diminish the prospects for Arab-Israeli peace. Now the story is a French judge has ordered ex-President Nicolas Sarkozy to stand trial in an illegal campaign finance case. Sarkozy faces accusations that his party falsified accounts in order to hide $20 million of campaign spending in 2012. Sarkozy denies he was aware of the overspending and will appeal against the order to stand trial. He lost the 2012 race and failed in his bid to run again in this year's upcoming presidential election. The case centers on claims that Sarkozy's party, then known as the UMP, connived with a friendly PR company to hide the true costs of his 2012 presidential election campaign.
Merci beaucoup. Merci. Il est donc temps maintenant pour moi.
Chile's worst wildfires in its modern history, which are ravaging wide swaths of the country's central-south regions, have claimed another silent but essential victim of human life: bees. For the past few weeks, bees and other pollinators have faced increasing risks to their survival, threatening foods such as apples, blueberries, and coffee. It is estimated at least 9,000 hives have been destroyed around the country, according to local media reports. Pollinators like bees are crucial for the production of fruits, nuts and vegetables, and they represent billions of dollars in value each year to the agricultural economies of countries. For the insects that did manage to survive the forest tragedy, the forecast is not very encouraging. They have no food, so affected beekeepers are looking for donations of sugar, which is used to prepare a syrup to feed them and help them survive. Preliminary total costs associated with massive ongoing forest fires throughout Chile have reached $333 million. On to the weather report for tomorrow now. Ground frost can be expected at some places in the Nuwara district in the early hours of the morning. Mainly dry weather with colder nights and mornings is expected to continue on most parts of the island. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the western, Sabaragamuwa central and southern provinces during the morning. Let's now take a look at the city-by-city weather forecast. That's a look at the English News Bulletin at Ada Derana 24/7. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Ada Derana 24/7.